Keefe with it in the corner. Alfredson on him. And Tuden there as well. And Keefe is bodied hard onto the ice. I'm going to get a penalty here, and it looks like it'll be coming against the 67's.
Yeah, you got it. McAllister picking up the first penalty, and Alfredson nails Keefe. And we'll have to see what's going to happen here, as all guys are paired up. As you got dueling banjos on the PA and dueling players on the surface. Looks more like a hug fest, actually. As referee Smola's trying to keep McAllister and Corupe apart. Finally get some help from the linesman. As Schilling and Kitt race back into the play. Take a look how this started. There's a little bit of a spear that I saw in front of the net. There's a bit of a high hit. McAllister then gets the roughing call right there. Considering what's been going on, that's a pretty lame roughing call. But then all heck breaks loose. And we get that big hug fest going on. As we got a whole pile of guys, it's almost like that whole front line is over in the penalty box.
And it looks like it all started when Keefe was rammed into the boards again, the second time in this contest that he's gotten a couple of splinters in the chops.
I think Alfredson just assumed he had a penalty as he's been pulled out of the penalty box and has come back to the player bench. He said, well, I was out there roughing up. Oh, that's right, because he didn't see the penalty call. Pat Smola had his arm up, but Alfredson had hit Keefe and put his arms up and say, look, I didn't do anything wrong. Then the penalty was called, and Alfredson just assumed it was him. Is that a guilty conscience or what? Take a look, there's the first hit, there's no call, that's the call right there. And then Alfredson, oh yeah, Alfredson pushes Keefe head first. Gives him a little help with the hand, guides him into the boards, and I can see why Alfredson would have a guilty conscience.
And while Pat Smola takes care of all of these penalties here on the ice, Neil and I, before every contest, we sort of hit the internet and try to find out team records, and Ottawa fans will be pleased to find out that most, if not all, of the offensive records for the Toronto St. Michael's Major are owned by one Steve Zorek.
And then last year, the man who was minding the nets in St. Mike's, Bujar Amadovsky, also set the record. Of course, St. Mike's renewed franchise, so records not really carried over from before. So Zorek setting all the marks. And you got to think with 34 goals, 27 assists, a total of 61 points, those are marks that can be beat. Most franchises have a guy in the 70s or 80s as their leading goal scorer, points over 100, and assists in that same sort of vein.
And we're almost ready to get underway here. Pat Smola indicating final changes for both teams with the arm up.
As we're still waiting to see what the man situation is going to be. There's nothing up on the clock. So we're thinking that it's all offsetting as we see 5-on-5 skaters.
Joe Talbot will take the draw against Ryan Walsh just outside Ottawa's line.